Hello and welcome back. I hope everyone watching is having a beautiful and glorious day. I am currently in Dallas, Texas, and it's hot out, Joe. It is real warm. How you doing there in Columbus, Ohio?
Yeah, well, it's the middle of it's July. Yeah, even Minnesota is probably really warm. Yeah, so yeah, you're correct. It's summertime.
Yeah, I'm ready for fall, spring. That's where I really find my natural habitat. But let's take a look at the overall playoff picture and where we stand. Because with the with the Mutineers win yesterday, we're taking a look at some shifting going on. Two teams have been eliminated from the race. Guerrillas, from what I understand, basically have to win every single match, rely on Mutineers to lose out in every single match. So there's still a chance for teams like Legion and Guerrillas. But this is how it looks right now, Joe.
Yeah, it's a chance, but it's about a 0.1% chance if you want to put it into terms.
And
the big thing is right now is the Mutineers, they're playing exceptionally well. That's really it. We saw it early on, last stage, but so far throughout this stage, they're able to beat Dallas, which is a huge win, and it just seems like they're really clicking right now. So the Mutineers, as you said, they're rolling, and they should have a huge win here.
Yeah, I saw Crim's tweet saying that aBeZy was on a ringer for Havoc. That's about as big as a compliment can come for an SMG player. So yeah, maybe hitting new levels they are. But let's go ahead and meet our teams. We're going to start off with Florida Mutineers.
Big situation. And a nice three-piece coming in from Big Wake.
Neptune is playing this, trying to bait him out, but Abby gets into a nice up. Apathy's finally a reposition, but Abby
Just a little bit too much, but Neptune.
He's still got the wall raging for P2 that Neptune is winning single-handedly. Great work. Again, looking at that mini-map, we know where they're coming from. These players do all round. But these boys have to get through skies.
You have to get through skies! What in the is this?
The squad seems to be coming together and hitting at the right time. We've just got the Stage 5 Major. We've got a chance at the end of the season, the playoff, to determine who's going to be taking home that big cash prize, and things are really starting to click. Now, I don't want to be completely sold yet because I've got my hopes up a couple times with this Mutineers squad, Joe, but I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean 100%. Obviously, the big thing is that last stage, they start off the way they do, and they don't make winners bracket. They have to start in an elimination bracket at the major. I think the goal for them is just starting winners, right? This is one of those matches where you're up 2-0 in your group. You're able to beat Dallas. Just get business done. Go 3-0. Put yourself in a position where you can start Major 5 in that winners bracket and give yourself a chance, right? Have those 2 losses so that when you have to go up with the best, you have those chances.
So just real quick before we meet the other team here, is this in a way a little bit of a trap game, considering they beat Empire, who was the team that stopped them from getting into winners? They fight against Guerrillas now, who they should come out and smoke. Do you see it as a trap game?
I mean, it is, but I think that they've thrown away some of those positions, so they should know the goal, the focus. So I expect them to beat Guerrillas, but yeah, it definitely is.
Okay, all right. Well, let's meet the team on the other side of this, which we've mentioned a couple times now. Let's take a look at Los Angeles Guerrillas.
When my friends go, it was simple. When the ends low, switch the tempo. I got right, I got heart, I won't die, I'ma fight. I go down, bet I strike, I go hard day and night. Money on the line, keep calling. Money on the books, need all that. My kids, they'll be ballin'. Got a real bankroll, not for Instagram. My mama on the line, keep calling. Praying for me, know I need all that. Told me it's not about ballin'. Real blessed, but I'm still sinning, man. I got right, I got heart, I won't die, I'ma fight. I go down, bet I strike, I go hard day and night.
The Los Angeles Guerrillas now with Mental in tow, trying to get him prepped and ready for the highest level of competition in Call of Duty. And it's been a bit of a shaky start, but can be expected with him just transitioning in. But Joe, they're looking to help him improve.
Shaky is one way to put it. Yeah, 0-2 and just not really much to take away from it, really from any of these guys throughout this stage. So we'll see if they can turn things around in this matchup.
Well, we're going to get into our game fuel keys to victory now and start off with Guerrillas. And Joe, I said to you, it was tough to do. They won one map this stage. I said to put down, do the opposite of everything you've done all year and leave it at that. You didn't let me do that.
No, I didn't. I think, number one, you have to simplify the game. Honestly, they're just not slaying to even be in the conversation right now. Every single player is negative in every single mode. If you look at a stat sheet, it's ugly. It really is. So, I mean, just slay, focus on fundamentals. When you have the numbers advantage, use them. In the one map that they won, Ceiling Assault led the way, that AR duo. So look at those two. Maybe to step up here, they need an answer for Skies and Awakening. And then secure controlled defense rounds. Mutineers are 8th in control attack rounds, so if there's any little advantage that you can take away, it's winning those defensive rounds that you can secure. But yes, it was tough because just right now, there's not a lot clicking for the Los Angeles Guerrillas.
And I know the roster's a little different now of Mental M, but I still feel like there's something there where you can't completely underestimate them if you're Mutineers. Just think about, like, when FaZe were undefeated, hadn't lost at all. Like, who was the team that beat them that you didn't see coming at all? Guerrillas. Like, not that that's the same exactly, but like they do have the chance to upset. So Mutineers absolutely have got to be dialed in. We'll see what Guerrillas are going to bring to the table today. But now let's talk through our keys to victory for the Florida Mutineers.
Well, I think early it's, you look at this game to better prep yourself, what to work on. And, well, I think in the hard points, they lost a lot of early hill setups to Empire. So, when we're rotating early, can you hold that first push? It needs to be better for the Mutineers. And Neptune, we found this interesting. He's got to find the correct spacing and control. Because right now he has the lowest KD on his team in this stage. He has the lowest engagements. It could be because Havoc is playing at a much higher level, and he's just kind of being put in that position. But right now, they are 0-2 in control. That is one focus where they have to get better. But as I said, Havoc, he has been playing unbelievable. His best stats throughout this stage, you can see it in every single game mode. He has improved so far. It is why the Mutineers are 2-0 in stage 5.
And it's only 2 controls, right? So it's not a lot. But when we looked at it compared to like last stage, he led the way, Neptune, when it comes to engagements and control. So it's just a little bit interesting to see change now in stage 5. But we'll see if that maybe gets back to something they're more comfortable with. But let's go ahead and look at our quick scope, just a quick comparison of these teams and how they've fared in the various modes over the year. It's been a difficult one for Guerrillas, no way around that, especially in the respawn department throughout the course of the year. At times the S&D has clicked, but they just have not gotten the respawns down.
Yeah, I mean 13 and 36 in hardpoint. That's really it. And I think 1 and 12 in the last 13. So, they have, I mean, at least they got a win, a map win under their belt this stage. They didn't have one last stage, but for Florida Mutineers, you can obviously see where they have struggled. 14 and 28 in control. Again, that's the area they need to focus on.
Let's take a look at our maps and modes and how this best of 5 is going to play out between these two squads. We'll go Garrison, Moscow, Garrison, back to Moscow, and a standoff if needed for a game 5. Anything that really touched you?
I mean, nothing, really that stands out for the Mutineers. Maybe you're getting Garrison control where they're 4 and 5, maybe just trying to find some improvements there. But the 2 Moscows, great for the Mutineers. They are 4 and 2 in Search and Destroy, 10 and 4 on that hard point. So when we get to those maps, a chance for them to really take over this series.
Yeah, I guess I find part of myself kind of rooting for this Mutineers team because it's been a bit of an up and down year. And it seems like the one thing kind of holding them back has been getting those winners bracket starts, right? Like getting a really good chance and a good position within a major. This seems to be maybe not their best chance to do it because they've been in some good spots, but a very, very good chance to do it if they can start out here 3-0.
I think it is. I think with that win over Dallas, well, you can kind of compare it to their win over Ultra last stage.
True, yeah.
Yeah, kind of a similar situation where I think they just had to learn from it. You start off 2-0, things are looking hot. And I think when you get to that 2-0, you beat one of the teams that'll probably end up maybe fighting you for top 3. That's when they ended up dropping that. They lose the tiebreaker last stage, and they don't get that winner's bracket scenario. So I think that is for them. Like, let's start there. Small goals so that we can continue to get better and put ourselves in the best situations. That's what the Mutineers have to focus on.
Yeah, and even just if you take, maybe the stage 5 major out of the picture for now, even though it'll be involved at the end of the day, just getting to a better spot within the bracket for the playoff, right? Like, I mean, that's going to be massive for them, considering they're hanging around the bubble. Like, you'd love to just move up a couple notches if you can get anything done.
They're only what, you know, a game or two behind the Thieves. You know, 3 behind the Røkkr. If they can get going and get some momentum, they can absolutely jump a couple of spots.
We'll see what they can do within this series. First and foremost is we're going to start off with Havoc's POV. Yeah, some splendid stuff from him lately. I think he took some flack early when he first joined this team. We heard the comms were there. You saw the routes were there, but statistically, maybe not up to snuff. But he's really been getting it going on all cylinders.
I will say that's fine if people want to critique him there, but I think we noticed right away it was a different Florida. And really, who was the person that stepped up was Neptune. And I just think that's because Havoc sets up his teammates for success. Again, it's not always the flashiest role, but you can see the way he has helped Neptune and their Search and Destroy develop.
Yeah, whether it's been through the play calls or sometimes the clutches, he's had a couple of nasty ones already in his short time with the team. We'll get right back over to his POV as they're trying to lock down our opening hard points. You take a look at the lock on the minimap and that number 4 in Neptune starting to rotate over. Make sure they're set up for success for the opening hold on second as we focus on the battles across mid-map.
And this is what I really want to see. This first push that Guerrillas throws at them, can they hold on to these setups, get that early lead? Because listen, the Empire game, it was crazy if you were watching. It was so much back and forth, but there were a lot of breaks on some of these money hills. And while 2 players are going to go down for the Mutineers, you have 1 player alive, that is Neptune, and Guerrillas able to break on through on that first push.
That certainly sets them up well. Now, we'll see how Mutineers look to try and get this retake, but 3-1 start for Mental. I know it's not much yet, but you'd love to just see that. You know he's going to eventually have that kind of pop-off ability. And that's the reason you got onto this roster. It's just a matter of when are we going to see it as he starts to get more comfortable. But right now, Silly's not even really letting the action get to him. But finally, it's Awakening with the double that will break on through. There's only 10 seconds remaining, though, so you got to focus on the other side. And who's the person from Mutineers that's on point? It's once again going to be Neptune, that number 4 that's trying to get in. And with those gunfight wins, they're going to have kind of a 4-1 on this push. It's going to be Apathy by himself set up deep.
I mean, Apathy's been here for so long. And while he's just playing inside of his Tinky Boots, it does end up getting taken down. And with those kills, they had the ability to spawn Guerrillas out. They're able to rotate across that map. Quick trade on Apathy, then Sky's able to follow it up with a double. So this is going to take some time now for Guerrillas to get across. But again, this first push, can you turn this into a back-to-back money hill that the Mutineers, they have to get better on these early holds?
And that was something in your keys to victory, just the early setups. Can you lock it down? Assault and Apathy trying to do their best to make sure that's not the case. They've gotten them cleared out of the point for a couple of seconds, but can they actually get full control? If they can't, can they at least make this a contest fest? With Awakening and Neptune stepping up to the bat, it looks to be a clearance for now. More time soaking up for Mutineers.
Yeah, good job. I mean, you know, Guerrillas find the first couple of kills, but with those close spawns, they're able to just reinforce a little bit quicker. You know, I think for Guerrillas, you get them off some of that time. They're able to keep it messy. Now, as I set up for this 4th hill, you have Mental locking down Caution, just trying to play his life. Neptune finds that angle. That's a nice angle, and Apathy from the hill. You just want him to stay down, but Sky's able to take him out. Neptune's starting to work across the map now, just trying to give them some map control. Get up towards that catwalk, and again, able to catch Mental with that angle. So a nice job just fighting for mid-map control. Here's the Mutineers.
While Mutineers battling for mid-map and maybe battling for a higher seed at the end of the year, maybe a winner's bracket start at the stage 5 major. A lot of work to be done for Mutineers. Let's go right to an Astro Listen In with Florida Mutineers.
Go. Now behind us.
Yep, I'm green.
I heard him. Underground, shit on.
Silly was green, man.
Let's try something now. Let's try something.
Yeah, I'm looking bridge.
Silly's green somewhere.
Deep up, one shot,
Silly back up.
one shot. I'm not picking me,
Silly's fine.
No, I don't know. One shot mid-truck, mental. Truck. I'm meeting one shot mid-truck. You want me? I'm getting him,
Good time.
One in the back.
Watch our event. One is square 2,
Yeah, outside mid. I shouldn't have
No, he's on me, vent. He's vent hop. Free kill.
That's one in the back.
Cast up 2. Back lights.
In lights.
I'm watching lights.
Alright, Mental's alley, guys. Mental's alley.
Nice.
Top cat. Absolute in time.
Hey, Mental's alley.
Top cat. We're gonna go big door. I'm calling it now.
Top cat. Yeah.
Where's the guy time at?
He's left side. He's bound to fork.
Yeah, he's my fork. And then one shot. There's 2 trying.
One slice.
Watch point out. They're spawning alley.
Arch one shot and one hill. Close. One full. He's laying down close.
One
shot close, Billy. Nice.
Nice. There's one more in time.
One's
You know,
one's
close
P1.
time.
Try to get them
He's
up.
got steps.
By fork
Yo,
weak,
you gotta take your
fork
time.
weak,
Assault
fork
on street,
arches.
assault on street.
Fork and arches, fork and arches, fork and arches.
Ramp up.
Charles.
They close up.
Nice assault on
Fork
street.
and
He's on
One
street.
more time, chilling.
He's
Still
one shot
shot.
in.
He got streak, he got streak, he got streak.
Watch.
I'm watching kill cam.
Watch top P2. Watch top P2.
P2 in me, probably.
As we come back to it, it's a 25-point advantage right now for Mutineers. 12-9, as you can see, currently for Skies, but we set up, get into our second set of rotations. It's pretty tight, Joe. Any drastic changes or improvements you see needed from either team?
Well, I think for Guerrillas, you did a really good job there at P5 and then transitioning this into P1. I mean, I think for Mutineers, we kind of hit it, right? Just those early holds. But over that transition from P4 to P5, as soon as we got into the listening, it was some hype moments for Florida, but the Guerrillas, they're able to get into that setup. You had them trapped towards the back left of that mini-map. Mental now towards that middle of the map, able to find another kill as he's on 3 in a row, starting to get things going individually. And his teammates have the rotation for the next hill, so Guerrillas setting themselves up.
I'll lead change there for a moment, but let's see if they can actually build on top of this with a nice setup here at the second hard point. Silly just set up behind the satellite. It's a tough position to deal with, but all the fights going down in bricks. Apathy's got some work cut out for him. Everyone's going to drop. Silly is going to get caught. And, well, the first time through, Mutineers weren't really able to get the setup they like. Same thing happens here for Guerrillas. It's far too clean, and Mutineers get in.
Well, and it reminds me, you know, when we talked about like FaZe in the past, right? They were all about breaking. And, you know, when we watched the Mutineers, when Havoc joined this team, they were really struggling on defensive rounds in S&D. But attacking rounds, that's when they looked great. And I think it is due to kind of Havoc's playstyle, him and Neptune, the way they can work off of each other, where they can make those breaks just look easy. Make it look like nothing really happened, as Havoc is on 6 in a row now as he starts to rotate across the map. 3 Guerrillas players do still spawn on that side of the map, so they're going to try and hold. But it's a similar situation of last time, of where they have 1 Guerrilla player spawn out. Now, can they find these kills, and can Havoc find a streak? There's the artillery.
Well, looks like he wants to go for this immediately. Just a call, going to come right in, funnel them in out of their good spots, and try to get the break behind that. Havoc will actually find a kill right off of it, and another. All 4 down. Beautifully done. Another breakthrough for Mutineers, and a chance to really push open a big lead.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't connect with many of those players, but it puts Still into a tough spot where Havoc comes off of that streak, able to find another kill. And what all the Guerrillas members, they're just pinned. So they get no room to work with how fast he was on that streak. Apathy trying to work up the middle, but now you have the Crews, and that's back-to-back kill setups where the Mutineers and behind Havoc's play able to get a break.
I feel like that's pretty uncommon, where you like get the artillery and it's just an insta call. Like, oh, a lot of times you might see the ping quickly, but he just found himself in a position where he got it. It's like, all right, this is actually a really good time to call this. Just comes in immediately.
Well, yeah, I think he pings it, and maybe he's thinking, like, I'm going to get traded out, but he saw all 3 players in the back, and it's like, all right, well, I'm just going to call this. This should set us up for the push, and it did just that.
Now, beautifully done. No hesitation. As Havoc just streaks for days. As he now looks to call in the missile, able to hit onto Silly. I think they go 2 for 2 during that sequence, though, so it's still going to be Guerrillas in the hard point, but just 45 points away from the map 1 victory is Mutineers. But what a map Havoc is having. Over to a one-on-one for Apathy. He's actually able to take down 2 by the time he's done with that second fight. But right after that, it's 3 straight for Mutineers in hard point control.
Yeah, Awakening now able to open things up with that Krieg is, well, all the scrap time just going to help them out, get them closer and closer. They'll be right around 230. This is where Guerrillas put a good amount of their points on these next couple of hills as they try to transition over to this P5. You're going to see that Silly spawns out. Watch that number 7. He's going to be coming behind the Mutineers players, but he ends up shooting. His teammate drops. So it's a bit of a split now, and you can see what Mutineers are doing. Nobody's really committing to the hill. They're really fighting over the middle of the map in trying to basically set up this trap. But Neptune just says, screw it. I'm going to get on the hill. He's on another 4 spree, having a great game here at 24-14.
They can close it out here. Just 5 more points needed to lock down this map 1. Havoc's got more streaks to go ahead and use. Yeah, no, I saw that as soon as we went over to the cruise missile. I was like, he wrapped, I guess, because he had another set. He calls that in. Nobody in the point for now. We're just looking for the final dagger through to close out this game. But yeah, beautiful map from Neptune. Awakening's been popping off with the multi-kills. And all around, fantastic team effort when you take a look at the stats top left. Fairly close and objective time to slaying there for everybody. A convincing win where they took over around the midway point. Right around 110, we had a lead change. It was tight. But from there, it was just utter dominance for Mutineers.
Well, and that just starts with that P2 hold, right into the second rotation. They get the break. They get 4 dead. Guerrillas, they get put into a tough spot. That's when Havoc goes on that spree, and then this is the play in the best play. He calls that in, finds a free kill with the Krig. And then that transition really opens up the game, puts them right around the 200-point mark. They're able to seal the deal. But this man on your screen, Havoc, just playing at a high level throughout this stage. Probably the best individually we've seen him all year.
And for a long time, just considering his career. I mean, he's had some, he's had some moments of brilliance. He's, he's been a top player at times, but there's been inconsistency over his career. But yeah, if he can keep playing like this throughout the rest of this year, this team is a threat in just about any matchup. But we'll look at the stats here quickly, and you'll kind of see what I was talking about. I mean, it's a pretty balanced result across the board there for Mutineers.
Yeah, I mean, everybody right around 4,000 damage. On the other side, Assault puts up 4,700. But Guerrillas still struggling in that slaying category. Once again, still a tough map, 12 and 24, especially when you consider he's running that Krig. But Mutineers take care of business.
Yeah, and I thought, when Silly got back to that, second hour flex roll, whatever you want to call it, maybe we get a bit more comfortable again, but not realizing that yet. Florida Mutineers dominate the map 1. They take the lead in this best of 5. We'll have Search and Destroy coming up after the quick break.
Seany, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Seany Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting seany.com/gaming. Get insurance savings and discounts from USAA, the official insurance partner of the Call of Duty League.
We made USAA insurance for renters who make the most of their space and money. That's why we make it easy to cover the stuff you love for as little as 33 cents a day. USAA, what you're made of, we're made for.
And we are back, getting prepped and ready for the search and destroy between Mutineers and Guerrillas. But we're going to do a little Mutineers talk before we get ready for this map, too. Obviously, an impressive win they just had over Empire, and I think a lot of us excited to see if they can keep that momentum going. But here's the overall KD you had for the players in that matchup, and I mean, just look at the subs.
Yeah, that's really it. This team all year has been it's been their AR duo. That has kept them in a lot of their matches, Awakening and Skies. Neptune has really stepped it up since stage 4, but Havoc at a 1.18 versus Empire, who was just our runner-ups at Major 4. A hell of a match from them. I mean, it was a bit of a crazy one, so many different moments. At times, it honestly looked like a pub, but they got a 3-1 victory, and they put themselves in a position to start this group off 3-0.
Yeah, well, when you got Havoc playing like this, guys rapping streaks, just dropping bombs all over the map, yeah, you feel pretty good about your chances, considering the form the rest of the guys have been in spots this year. Awakening and Neptune have been so consistent as of late. I know Skies We talked a bit about him, just his stage 4 compared to the stage 4 major, but I guess I feel like he's been getting better as the year goes on. I know there's been those occasional series that hasn't been the case, but I feel like he's picked it up.
No, 100%. He's gotten more and more consistent. I think the one thing that, stands out is Major 4, where he just wasn't in his best form. But again, that's what I mean. Like, I think it's just difficult to always ask, the players just right away through the elimination bracket to play your best, right? You have that second life when you start in winners, and I mean, we've seen some crazy losers runs already. So we'll see if the Mutineers can secure that. But over to Moscow, one of their better searches, one they focused on, where they're 4-2 right now for the Mutineers. On the other side for Guerrillas, 4-5 overall.
Well, you got to think if you're Guerrillas and you're going to Pounce, this is probably the mode it's going to have to happen in, considering just how the respawns have been. If they're going to strike, and they strike here in the map too and give themselves a chance in this series, they'll start off offensively. We'll have Silly's POV to kick us off. We'll take a look at the break. Pretty common setup so far, but it looks to be getting pretty aggressive. Now, that from Havoc, we saw that so much the last time we casted them here, and yeah, it felt like he was either getting a first blood or getting a lot of information or getting away with his life. Let's see if the information pays off, because he's going to go down early.
Well, I mean, the information goes away, though, right? Because they're just going to slow it down and then switch things up. Skies, though, is the one now telling them, hey, this is probably going to be an A hit, but it's a 4-on-2. Awakening able to find one. Neptune just prone, waiting for the rest of the players. But the more time they buy, look at Skies on the flank. They bought enough time for Skies now to make the play. Guerrillas to slow round and first blood thrown away.
Oh, yeah. At one point you said 4v2. I was like, well, it's a 4v3, and that third player is probably going to be important here, because he's going to be the one working the flank. But yeah, I mean, you kind of nailed it. If you're going to take that advantage and go for the hit, you just kind of have to make something happen, right? Somebody's got to go. I think somebody's got to go, because the longer that goes on, yeah, I mean, you highlighted it, but yeah, once the flank comes in, things just unravel so quickly.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a bit of a risk from Havoc. Again, he's a player that at times does that on defensive rounds. But Skies kind of follows that up. He gives them the rest of the information of you guys can stay put at A as they get ready for that hit. But Guerrillas just a little too slow. They lose that round and that round advantage.
And their last match, I think it was some of the 3v4s they really struggled with. Weren't able to win any of them, but this is a different conversation. This is a 4v3. This is something you need to get a victory. Not that you're going to win every single one, but all you'd like to start the first round off with a bang. But instead, Mutineers clutch up in the 3v4. They're slowly starting to work this up towards B, but there's two players here from Guerrillas. You've got Apathy and Assault.
Yeah, Apathy's just kind of holding this off angle. You see everybody kind of comes in and looks to that left corner, but App just on the bomb. Assault, though, does get taken down. Skies is able to find that 1v1, and then look at this. Looks like they're trying to cut off the rotation. Facility able to wrap on back with his teammates. Guerrillas ready for that three-man push. Maybe they don't expect all three to be there, but they were ready for that wrap through the middle. Silly gonna find multiple kills.
And I feel like that's the... listen, respawns have been tough for them all year. There's no way around it. But in the search, I think when I was really hyping Silly up, when they were really making plays, when he was, I was gassing, maybe a little bit too much, but it was in the search, man. He had some moments where he would just take over with that Krigan hand. I'd love to see more of that, if possible. But a nice round out of him. And look, oh god, Mutineers are sending it. They've got 4 right up mid-map. We'll see where the split goes.
Yeah, it looks like just Havoc and Neptune able to get Escalator's control. Now you have a double peek watching this cross, and you don't typically see that, so Assault has to get down. Is Awakening going to put some shots in? Mental, though, finds an angle, and I think with that happening, Apathy is going to go. Neptune's trying to help out Awakening because Mental was just from the middle of the offensive spawn, and things kind of breaking apart now for Mutineers.
Guys, now 1 versus 4. Bomb is wrapped all the way to A. Not in the best of spots. Yes, we've seen some crazy 1v4s, 1v5s over the years, but it gets a whole hell of a lot more difficult once this bomb gets planted. Now, it'll be just 40 seconds really to work with. Well, less than that when you consider time for the defuse. And that, yeah, That blows himself to bits. That makes sense.
I'm out.
That was that was basically unwinnable. But you know, one thing we've talked about here and there for this Mutineers team has been their offensive struggles, sometimes in search and destroy, and getting a little bit over aggressive, getting caught at times.
Well,
they're
defensive.
going to take some gambles.
Defensive.
Yeah, they're defensive. Sorry, they'll get a little over aggressive. Like, we'll see Havoc make that play, and it'll go good or bad. He gets caught in the first round, but they're able to clutch up. There, they get pretty aggressive mid-map, and things fall apart. But I feel like the offense has been pretty good. It's the defense where if they can just improve that a bit, and they can be like a top-tier search team.
Well, I think it's the defensive rounds. When we saw their struggles, it was later in the rounds when teams were really patient. Yeah. So I think what Neptune and Havoc are kind of playing is like, let's just take map control early. And when we have the early map control, that's when we can really play with it. So I don't hate the early risks all the time, you know, that we saw from Havoc. I think the round number, or the second defensive round, you know, I think that Awakening just get some bad timing in the middle of the map, but they took escalators away pretty quick. So I think that's kind of their response to it is, let's just play with a little bit more aggression defensively so we know how to react. But in this offensive round, it's all Mutineers. But Assault is left in that 1 versus 3, and that's just Guerrillas getting taken down at that site.
That makes sense, though. Like, I don't know, try to control the narrative a little bit when it comes to, I guess, the gunfights, and when patience is going to be needed. Try to put it in their control a little bit more. We'll see how it pays off as they get back to defense. But Guerrillas still in this at 2-2. Apathy, a hard carry right now at 6-2. The multi-kills for him have been huge. A lot of utility out mid-map, but nobody home for Mutineers as they've got 2 set up on either bomb site, and the swing guy will be Havoc. It looks like he's reading this properly. He gets himself back over to A. Here comes the hit from Guerrillas. And now you got some information. Everybody here, they peek from both sides. Neptune at least able to take down one, but Havoc will get caught in the back line. Now down to a 2 versus 2. And Awakening going to be by himself until Skies can get in position to help. Cellium acquires bomb. We'll see when they work this plant in.
Well, I love that from Awakening. He backs up. He knows he has to wait for Skies in the 2-on-2. I mean, he's expecting them to get aggressive, but he buys enough time, wraps back to his spawn. Now he has Skies very close to him so they can play this 2v2. Only thing is what? They both have Krigs. So some of these close-range fights are going to be tough, and that timing that Skies just got, they're right behind them. And, well, once that glass breaks, they're going to know it. Now it's Awakening left by his lonesome.
I was about to say, I think like the fact that Skies flanked in that first round, like they were so worried about it, right? They don't get bombed down. They're so worried he's hitting on the flank, but he doesn't, and they end up pushing out that side. It pays off. Now we'll see if Awakening can clutch up in the 1 versus 2. He's on 3 in a row. This could be huge for Mutineers or a much-needed round for Guerrillas. As my God, they could use this map win as they've been far and in between as of late.
Well, I mean, he's checking everything, so he has a pretty good idea of where their setup is. It's just inside. He's able to find the first one out, force into a 1v1, but 20 seconds left. He's got to go. He's got to hunt Silly. He's expecting a re-challenge, but Silly playing this very patiently. He's Awakening, just checking all the angles where he can check it from. There's only one left. And while it is this window, hop up here, he's going to hear that slide. Awakening not going to catch Silly. He's going to find the kill, but Silly's going to win the round.
Yeah, I mean, it's an excellent job by Awakening, kind of clearing everything, trying to get that information, but just out of time. He had like 5 more seconds. Maybe he wins that. But Silly plays it patient, plays his spot, gets the round win.
Well, what? I mean, Awakening comes on through, and when there's 2 of them live, he's checking every angle, doesn't see anything until he finally finds Mental. And then he's expecting a re-challenge, but, you know, Silly being a veteran, just playing the clock. And Awakening, once again, it comes down to 1 angle, but just not enough time. As you said, a couple more seconds, who knows?
I guess the only good thing, and maybe in the back of his mind throughout that, is he's on that streak, right? So he's out to 5 in a row. He's at least able to stay up. Ooh, some tags for the 6th in a row, but can't finish it. Now Assault is laying, looking for feet, and he finds 4 of them. Awakening in Skies. Their toes just beaten and battered as Assault makes the play on street side.
Yeah, they don't have toes anymore, but, you know, he's just under that bus stop, and now Neptune's trying to take it from him, but Assault's like, I was just there. I'm going to be ready for it and that angle. Neptune is at least able to stay on up.
Like, do you really need toes? What do they do?
I think you do. Yeah, you do. I think like if you don't have a big toe, I don't even think you can walk properly. I'm pretty sure.
Seriously? Oh man. So
I'm
toes are
like
more
pretty sure
important
that's
than I
a
thought.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not a toe expert, Joe. So thank you for that.
Me neither, but I definitely have read that somewhere. Maybe it was 2 of them, but I don't know.
Well, Havoc will drop and Guerrillas start to roll. That's back-to-back rounds for Guerrillas. Up 4-2. Yeah, and it starts here. Okay, just looking for the feet and, oh, they're decimated.
Yeah, someone's definitely gonna correct me. I'm sure of it.
It sounded smart, though. Listen, if I've learned anything in my career, if you say stuff with enough conviction or confidence, people believe it. That's probably not good. Back! The search and destroy. His mental, he's going to get tagged up. Just doing that jump peek for information. Pretty similar setup out of Mutineers this time. You can see, instead of being kind of the one swing man, they're all starting to kind of flirt their way back over to B.
It's been these early kills that Guerrillas have found, right? Just in these rounds. Just saw Assault do it. And this is a good enough fake where you still have 3 players who rotated back towards A. With that nade going off, Neptune, he's going to back it up. Skies now, he's in trouble. He gets nailed by a grenade, just able to slide on through. But now it could be on a Neptune because Guerrillas are thinking rotate. They're thinking rotate out of this. Silly is going to catch him. Havoc is going to be the one player standing over towards this A bomb site, and Mental was just waiting the whole time.
Yeah, this is just beautiful from Guerrillas. Just the patience and picking them apart. Now a 2v4. Is Awakening Skies in a, well, similar position they were in a couple rounds ago, but that was a 2 versus 2. This time they have to deal with the entire Guerrillas lineup. They go for the chow on the one in the corner, but the angle is held. Skies left alone and drop. Guerrillas now on 3 in a row. Up 5-2. Take it over and dominate in this search.
Yeah, it's just the early kills that they're finding in these rounds, giving them the advantage. A good job just kind of, you know, keeping Mutineers honest. And what's really the key here is the early aggression on their defensive rounds that Havoc and Neptune have thrown have not paid off. You can see Havoc 1 and 6, Neptune 3 and 5. The 2 early rounds, right? Havoc got caught into the B window, and then when they went escalators early, they lost that round. So they've kind of gone back to that slow sort of rotate as a team, retake 4 on 4, and that's when we've seen Mutineers struggle.
100%, like all year long. I feel like we haven't had a chance not to talk about that any match we've casted from them, but Havoc comes in with the entry. He will get traded out, and the trade on the other side won't happen. I thought Neptune was dead to rights, but he gets across. Ends up being like the perfect bait. As Silly didn't overchows. App will do the same. Neptune, at first that looked so silly, right? It just looked like he was a free kill. Ends up baiting just about everybody in. He'll get the plant down behind that. Neptune wreaking havoc again with the plant, and Mutineers able to close it out as they finally get around on the board.
Yeah, that's just on that right there, right? Assault. If he finds that kill on the Neptune, because you could see they try to get that trade. He's weak. Skies is just waiting for that angle. But the bait by Neptune, well, it just stumps Guerrillas. Assault gets that kill. That's probably the round. That's probably the map.
Yeah, if he dies on that cross, like, yeah, that just plays out so differently you think, but he gets across, and great help by Skies. It was, what, 3 straight for Guerrillas? That'd be 4 straight for Mutineers if they're going to get this win. One part of that done. Mental back to his spot, just spotting for info. I say, I don't think that tactical hit. As he tossed it, so he might think that push is clear.
But yeah, look at number 3, right? That's Havoc. And again, he's playing that rotation. He's playing that swing man. Not getting aggressive defensively. This slow offense from Guerrillas has paid off. So they're sticking with it. Sky's just holding this street. And he's gotten some crazy timing. Him and Assault just haven't spotted each other. There's the information. Again, is weak, but Apathy with the bomb. I thought he was going to get pushed on in, but he's just going to slow things down for now. But based on Mental and Silly, this is going to be a B hit.
Skies will be harnessing his inner Assault looking for feet. They push out a street, but in through the window go 2. Havoc, the first shot's in, won't connect, but he is able to take down 1. Sky's an assault, looking for a fight, but Silly's joined the party too, so there's a 2-on-1. Really, it's going to be Neptune that needs to get involved in the action. I thought maybe Sky's got behind the truck without the drop. A little bit of pre-fire there from Awakening, does some damage as well, but Mental picks up the flank. Neptune will drop to a 1v1 we go. 35 seconds on the clock. Awakening through on the Chow, and he'll win the fight. Time for the defuse. Mutineers stay alive and push us to another round.
I think if he doesn't jump out of that window, I think he gets that kill because he was on that windowsill and he was ready. He thought that as soon as he backed up, Awakening was going to go on that defuse. But Awakening, he's ready for the gunfight. As soon as that mantle comes in, immediately able to get that trigger ready, find that final kill. Mental, you know, he was the one following it up, getting that bomb plan in. I mean, Havoc, you know, luckily he finds one Skies with the trade, but into the 2v2. Mental almost makes the play to win the round and win the map, but Mutineers stay alive.
You know, we looked at that stat for them versus Empire, and it was just wild. They both are on a 1-2 for the subs. This map in particular has been all the ARs for the Mutineer size. Awakening and Skies combined for 17. You've got 6 total between Havoc and Neptune, and well, part of the reason they might be a little bit of trouble in this map is more often than not, that's going to be their first point of contact.
Yeah, that's it, right? When you're playing these slow rounds, the way that Guerrillas are kind of forcing them on defense, what tends to happen is you have to retake, your subs go on in first, and who's the players that are getting the easy trades? It is the ARs. That's just the nature of this game right now. Again, Neptune 1 bullet able to stay alive as he slides across. But Assault gets all that info. You have a 3-man setup here. Apathy able to find that first blood onto Awakening.
This is where you need to put it away if you're Guerrillas. Don't let this go to around 11. Havoc, though, brings it back to a 3 versus 3. Mental, nice nade, and he'll catch Havoc. Neptune now by himself in a 1 versus 3. He's gotten out with bomb, but not the best of chances here to get it to around 11. He starts it. He's thinking he can catch one. He'll get back to the plant. Guerrillas, I like it. Just playing together. Let him plant the bomb, then play the 3-on-1 retake. Don't risk him getting an easy one. Can Neptune
He just doesn't know how close they are.
He's been so good for this team. This is going to take something special. Well, okay. Well, Apathy just waltzes in and kills him. So that'll do it for the search and destroy Guerrillas. They will get the map win. That 3 in a row they had, from the 2-2 point, really the difference. And they close it out there. I was trying to sell a little bit of drama. Unfortunately, we didn't get any.
No, yeah, the first quarter Apathy checks. That's where he is. So, yeah, just process of elimination. It just wasn't a very long process for Apathy. No. He's like, all right, I got him. All right, we win the game. But as you said, didn't want that to get to around 11. But props to Mental and Apathy. I think both around 9 or 8 kills. And, yeah, they shut down that SMG duo. So, a nice search and destroy out of their subs. Keep them in the series. Tie things up 1 apiece.
Yeah, we don't have a doubt this team can win a search and destroy. Well, okay, for most of the year we didn't. Maybe after last stage, you were just wondering if they could win a map. I mean, there was just a stretch there where they were struggling so badly, but they've been a decent search and destroy team at times. So not too shocked they can come and win it. The question though is, I mean, they're going to need to win a respawn. They're going to need to.
Yeah, and maybe the next map is their best chance because Mutineers have been struggling in control this stage. But there you can see it. Havoc, Neptune struggling. On the other side, Mental, Apathy leading the way. And I think that playstyle, that's a playstyle that at times can get under the Mutineers' skin. When Havoc and Neptune and their aggression isn't working out defensively, you kind of see what happens. So a good game out of the Guerrillas. It's one of those playstyles that just, well, it counters them.
100%. I remember actually watching when they beat FaZe. I know it's ages and ages ago, but that was one thing that kind of stood out in the search and destroy a little bit. Just kind of slowed them down, which teams that want to fly, that can be a little bit frustrating. But let's take a look at our U.S. Army tactical plays. We're going to hop into the round 5. It's a moment for Silly and, where they really started to take over the map. Because after it's tied up 2-2, and this is the beginning of the big stretch from Guerrillas.
Yeah, this is just that 1v1, right? I mean, Awakening, he gets put into this tough situation. But you can see he's checking every angle. Where is Silly going to check this bomb from? In the final one, well, it's this window hop-up. That's where Silly is. It's just there's not enough time left. Awakening, he's going to hear the slide come in. He finds the the shots, but Awakening took so much time. Maybe because he was on that streak, doesn't check window hop. It's a round win for Guerrillas, and that's when they really open up this game.
Well, Guerrillas, they tie it up 1-1, a shot in the series, desperately looking for a victory as well. They're going to need to be perfect, and they're going to need Mutineers to lose everything, which they can kick that off right now if they can somehow get a win. As Silly and the boys look to get it done, we head to a quick break for the control.
This is your Scuff Team of the Week, a super team built with 4 of the top performers at the most recent event. 3 players were selected by the league and 1 was selected by fan vote. Stick around to the end to find out who made the team. First up, it's Envoy of OpTic Chicago. Envoy and his squad started their Stage 5 off with a bang, 3-0ing both the PaulEhx Legion and the New York Subliners. The team's been riding a bit of a roller coaster since the beginning of the season, but it's finally looking like the ride's smoothing out for the green wall. OpTic's looking better than ever on the map, and as a result, we're really starting to see what Envoy is capable of. As soon as an opening presents itself on the map, Envoy doesn't hesitate to push to maximize map control for his team. This relentless pressure was on full display in the controls, with Envoy going especially hard in map 3 versus the Subliners, where he dropped a massive 35-17 game on raid to slam the door shut on the series. Next up, it's another OpTic player, Formal. No doubt the entire green wall were happy for Formy as he dominated the competition in the first week of the final stage. Formal didn't go negative in a single map out of the 6 that OpTic played over the week and had plenty of moments where he was absolutely cooking with the AR. If you're a longtime OpTic fan that wants to see some primo Formal gameplay, check out map 1 of OpTic series versus the PaulEhx Legion, where the T2P duo goes on an absolute tear, with Formal dropping a massive 32-20 scoreline. Third, it's Cellium of the Atlanta FaZe. It was another typical week for Cellium and the gang as they buttoned up yet another week of group play with 2 clean 3-0s. While every member of Atlanta FaZe is a massive threat on the map, what makes Cellium particularly annoying is how difficult he can be to kill. Across Atlanta's 2 matches this week, Cellium had the lowest average deaths out of his entire team, all while often leading the team in the slaying department. He had an especially lethal performance versus the PaulEhx Legion, where he racked up an incredible 1.86 KD by series end, a stat no doubt inflated by his perfect 7-0 scoreline in map 2 of the series. And finally, selected by fan vote, it's Simp of the Atlanta FaZe. It's really been hard not to include at least one of the tiny tears in every single episode. The Scuff Team of the Week is meant to highlight those who had high impact performances across the week. And yes, Simp made it on via fan vote this week, but how can anyone argue against his inclusion? This guy has been one of the most consistent players we've seen since his debut, and he's almost always a statistical overperformer compared to other players in similar roles. This week was no exception. Atlanta's match versus PaulEhx, Simp dropped a 1.47. Their match versus London, he posted a 1.4. When it comes to building super teams, you want superstar players. When it comes to today's competition, it's hard to find any stars who shine quite as bright as Simp. That's your Scuff Team of the Week for Stage 5, Week 1.
Hello everyone, I know you missed us terribly, but we are back. To continue the action here, we're going to talk about this man on your screen, Neptune. He has been huge in, well, the improving performance of this Mutineers team. We're going to take a look at his stats kind of over the course of the year, and shocking, he has been improving.
No, he's gotten better and better, but I mean, just look at stage 4. I mean, that is when he really got comfortable, it seems. Like, it really just started to take off. 1.2, and even into stage 5, 1.18, right around the same numbers. I mean, you can see how consistent he was the first 3 stages, but it just felt like they were missing a part, right? The sub duo was not performing. Now with Havoc on the squad, he's been getting better and better.
Yeah, and you wonder if it was something where, I don't know, maybe he was in a position where he felt with his team he had to do, you know, there's usually a sub that does a little bit more of the dirty work, and I don't think our roles are as, it's a lot more, I feel like, objective by committee these days. And the roles kind of blur the lines a little bit compared to maybe, you know, 6 years ago. But maybe he felt he had to do the dirty work a little bit more. Now he feels he can be a little bit more selfish and play for the kills, and he's been doing a great job.
I mean, what does it remind? It reminds me of Shotzzy last year, right at you know, opening weekend. It just felt like he was just so objective oriented. And maybe it's just because, you know, he's new to COD and wants to do what his teammates are telling him to do, and they take that and they just kind of run with it. I'm doing my job. I'm making sure that I do what my teammates ask of me. But they had to unleash him. They had to get him comfortable, and he has. Finally playing at just a, well, I mean, finally. I mean, he's been playing at a really high level these last couple of stages.
He certainly has, and, well, now they're tied up 1-1. They're going to need more of that, and to the control we go. And you thought maybe this was the respawn opening for Guerrillas.
Yeah, I mean, 0-2 right now for Mutineers. And the key is well, Neptune's, you know, struggled so far throughout this stage. Low engagements, but again, maybe it's just because Havoc has really stepped it up. I think that's where he's at his best at like a 1.2. But 0-2, so it's like Havoc's playing really well, but his team's not finding those wins. We'll see if they can turn it around at this stage. Because what, last stage I think they were 4-3 in control, and the guy leading the engagements was Neptune.
We'll see if he can start to pick it up. But what were the two? Was it Checkmate, the two they played previously? We were talking about this earlier. We were doing the keys. I had it pulled up. I'm trying to look at that up now.
For what, stage 5?
Yeah.
They're 0-2 on Raid and 0-1 on Garrison.
For what?
These Guerrillas.
Oh, no,
sorry. I thought you were talking about Guerrillas.
Never mind. It's one Checkmate, one Raid. Never mind. I thought both were played. I thought both were played on Checkmate for some reason. So this is actually the first time we'll see Garrison from them so far this stage. So never mind.
Okay. But early in this round, over at B, you know, Mental goes on a flank through the middle of the map, and him and Apathy continue. They open up this game at 6-1. So a really good job, but now it's going to come down to this A-hold. Minute 15 left for Guerrillas, so they're going to have to start working up the middle of the map and getting some objective work done.
This next wave of kills could be huge with a minute left. Who's going to be the person to find the opener? Well, unfortunately, it's going to be Skies on the other side of it. App there with the trade, but now in a little bit of trouble as he gets hit down to 96. The nade will push him out, but they still have 2 players here, though. Havoc will turn the tides big time in favor of Mutineers. Some huge kills to reset Guerrillas, all 4 back to spawn. And you don't have a lot of looks at this now with 40 seconds to go.
You might have 1, maybe. They got to fight for mid-map control. You can see that's what Mental's looking for, and who is that? It's Neptune. Awakening going to come from bottom vent. Assault just trying to make sure they have some presence now. Over by Caution. Pace down Neptune, but again, Awakening there for that trade. Silly 0-5 to start this game. Almost makes it 0-6. Apathy keeps him alive.
We know how tough it can be to get rolling on offense and control, but you're going to need to get something going if they're going to get a round win. But by the looks of it, should be a nice hold by Mutineers. There's a chance, though, 2 versus 2, and they're onto the site for a moment. Can they win these key fights? Not going to happen. Skies and Havoc clutch up on the objective, and that'll be a round 1 win for Mutineers.
Well, and that's just that first push that we talked about a lot in Hardpoint. We saw it there for the first time in Control. What Apathy gets pushed up, and who's the man? It's Havoc who takes down 2. Gives them bricks control. When we watch defensive teams really have problems over towards that A side, it's when they lose bricks. When the enemy subs get in there, there's so many angles to check. That's when they can really finesse, find the angles of the players on the point. But Havoc doesn't allow that to happen. He finds those 2 kills. They stay alive in their spawn, and once they get pushed up mid-map, Guerrillas just could not retake it.
Yeah, no, I mean, that sequence there was really the game when it came to their chance on the second objective. But now let's see what Mutineers can do on the offensive end of things. Great start for Skies at 7-3. It looks like they want to take the action to A off the opening hit, or at least focus heavily towards green control. And Havoc just lying and
with like
waiting
that.
to pounce. Oh, okay, well, that's a stick. He sticks him top green, and that might be the tie they needed.
Yeah, so you had to have what Awakening just, you know, he's running that third sub, but look at number 3, Havoc. He goes right to this spot. This is what I was talking about. This is when it gets tough for defensive players. It's a nice trade by Apathy, but they're just focusing on capturing B. Get set up. I mean, maybe you have one chance here to retake. Now that they have top green control, they can fly off catwalk and maybe go for this.
This might be one of those risky pushes. Or if you lose everybody, it puts Mutineers in a really good spot. Thankfully, the only one up is Skies, so it's not going to be that much forward position. But, yes, you got a streak, and Guerrillas can't quite get to the exact positions they'd want to around A, because all 4 were coming off a spawn. Skies going to go ahead and call this in. Keep an eye on the white arrows. And they'll all just be inside of bricks, but it does connect on 1. He's able to get 1. Now Neptune through on the pinch. That will be 3 down if they can get App. Apathy gets away with his life, but they're onto the point. Second bit of progress about to be done, and Neptune will be the point man to deal with the wrapper on the back. He's going to have a chance to pinch here and catch a player or 2. It's not even going to come to that. Nobody's going to get there in time. Mutineers will get the win. And it's like the first point, I mean, I think the stick there, that stick from Skies ends up being huge. Then he snaps back to get a second. That's where things fall apart on the first objective. And then, yeah, well, you know, getting a streak behind that kind of helps. Yeah, what a 7-3 start of the defense. Doesn't die, or yeah, it doesn't die on the offense. That goes 4-0.
Well, it's just what? I mean, it's that push, because when they go for it one last time, he stays alive. And it comes down to a 1v1, Silly versus Skies, and Silly gets done with a gunfight, has to turn around and snap, but Skies, he just has that easy trade. So not only is it the risk of you don't get your setup at A, but it's almost just like if you throw more lives at this, because there's been players on the objective the whole time, they're wrapping those score streaks, and well, that risk turns into what? The artillery and the offensive round win for Mutineers.
There's always that talk of risk versus reward on the retake, and, well, no reward in that one for Guerrillas. They did a pretty solid job getting the first objective in B the last time they were through on offense. Skies wants none of it this time, as he comes through and keeps lining them up.
And this is when Guerrillas had trouble.
To use.
Might have more streaks now. What, 5 in a row for Awakening? He's 1 kill off an artillery. We'll see if he can find it. Assault and Apathy, though, do find 3. So Awakening, he's just going up top catwalk. He gets caught. So now maybe you have to use that cruise missile if you are Skies, and he's going to do that so they don't lose this A zone.
Well, his teammates get 2 in the process. That first one's going to connect. Silly is just hiding, can't quite get it in the window to maybe take him out as well, but it sends most of the team back to spawn as the fight will continue on. But nobody on an objective, so that clock continues to dwindle down to around 10 seconds. Oh, there's a big wave of kills. Neptune's now going to suddenly be the only one up. A big spree in from Guerrillas and a chance within this round. They'll get onto the B point. They've got somebody at A as well. Now Neptune waiting on the help to come in. Mutineers had to make a choice. They're going to go towards A, try to retake that, make sure that second bit of progress doesn't get in. The first part is done, and now with 10 seconds left, you got to imagine they're going to try and retake this for that same conversation about whether or not it'll pay off starts.
Well, I mean, they had top green control, and they just didn't see anything. They don't see anything. They're able to find the angles. Nobody was ready for that push from Guerrillas. That's going to be all the kills. That's going to be the map. It is a fast garrison control. It started off with that defense, and what did Guerrillas need to do for the keys? It was win a defensive round, and it was just they go for that B retake. The artillery comes in, and once they all get on it, the artillery is there. It's just too easy for Mutineers.
Yeah, I mean, you see the B retake can certainly work out, as you just saw it from Mutineers, but when it doesn't, it can be painful. But Mutineers make it look easy. They take that one, and as he said, a quick 3-0 fashion, take a 2-1 edge, and yeah, still the age-old question of whether or not the Guerrillas can win a respawn. They've got one more shot to do it. They've got to win the hard point to get to a map 5, but well, look at the stats. There's not a whole lot of them. Not a ton of kills on the map because they ended quickly.
Again, it's just a solid team effort from the Mutineers. But it's really winning that offense in what Sky's 14-5. A big game from him in Awakening, but Awakening with that third sub, I think really puts a lot of pressure on the Guerrillas just early on in that map.
They certainly did. Mutineers too hot to handle right now. They are up 2-1. They'll look to close this out on the hard point, but they got to feel good about that control win. It was clean. It was quick. We'll go to a quick commercial break. When we get back, hard point up next.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by T-Mobile. T-Mobile is the shot caller in 5G. Lead the game from the lobby to the last push with America's largest, fastest, and now most reliable 5G network.
We are back, getting ready to get into the hard point. And Joe, I gotta say, you're looking good in those glasses today, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, producer comes in my ear like, hey, the lights are bright, the monitors are on, you better put on your Zennies. And yeah, I totally forgot them early on, but you know, obviously you got the blocks technology, and well, good thing Maven just comes out. All 12 teams now have a Zenny style, so you can support your favorite team, you can get your prescription in this. Gotta protect your eyes when you're gaming.
Oh, that's beautiful, Joe. That's beautiful. I need to get myself a pair because my eyes, I'm getting older. I need to take care of them. But yeah, we look forward to the hard point. Now we're going to see if Guerrillas can get a W here, push us to a map 5. You got to feel a little bit demoralized after how the game 3 went. It obviously, it wasn't strong out of the Guerrillas, but you got to brush that off. They've got some veterans on the roster. Looking to, try and get mental eased into this lineup as best they can, but I think we've all witnessed it hasn't been all that smooth thus far.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably, even map 1, he was right around even. This is probably one of the better series he's looked, but it's going to be tough. And here's what I'm going to tell you. For the Mutineers, probably their best hardpoint map, 10-4. For the Guerrillas, I'm not sure if it's their worst, but it's definitely one of their worst, 1-8 on the year. So this is going to be an uphill battle for the LA Guerrillas.
Yeah, it's just got to be interesting. It's just weird when you look at rookies coming in and how different it is based on what your entry point is, right? You and I've been around a long time, and you have one like Mental where he's coming in to a team that is broken and struggling. There's no way around that. Or you have somebody like Shotzzy who's coming into an immediate contender. There's just a lot of ways it can go down, and well, it's a testament and a test to these rookies to try and get something going when you're in a circumstance like this.
100%. Yeah, I mean, for him, it's just, take these reps at the highest level and learn from them, learn from his teammates around him. But to open things up, I thought Gorilla... Okay, they are able to trade, but it's Neptune who finds one more, gives them the advantage. And this is where the Mutineers have been so good on this map. It's kind of this transition from 1 to 2 and holding this first hill with a lot of time. But Neptune, he's going to give up some early time, try to go on a flank, but Cellium and Apathy, they're ready for the next set of kills. And Apathy's going to find 2, and, well, that's all 4 dead. And now they're going to flip the map. So what I talked about, what they're really good at, just that collapsed.
Yeah, it certainly did. But for Guerrillas, you get put into a decent spot here to set up and hold down the second hard point. Now, you do lose your player in a silly kind of watching that street push. So there's a bit of an opening for them to start to layer up the map. Mental doing what he can to kind of stagger this push a bit. He gets 1, but then eventually we'll drop the Neptune. Now you got a bit of a pinch developing. You've got Awakening from the top. Havoc hitting from the bottom. Silly and Assault doing what they can to split the forces and make this more of a desperate effort. But Havoc and Awakening, those 2 on the pinch, they've still been up this entire time.
Well, and Havoc just taking his time. He finds 2 kills, but he's also playing his life. He's wasting time blocking spawns. And behind that, his teammates are able to push to the front of the hill. They're going to find the rest of the time. And look at Skies. He knows where they're spawning. They're spawning street side due to their position. He's trying to get all the way across towards Fountain Hill. He beats Apathy on rotation. Now he has Neptune to help him out. Apathy, guess what? You're spawning at old. So they have a 3-on-3 on this rotation. They did a really good job of this situation. On Garrison Hardpoint, they're doing it here on Moscow.
And poor Apathy. He comes off spawn. I mean, he's dead in seconds. This Havoc's clearly got the read with where that's going to pop. Apathy will end up spawning out again and will try it his way across the map, but you've done enough on rotation to get Skies and Awakening into their power spots, let the powerful ARs do their work as Neptune will continue to roam and look for an opening. Just looking for maybe that backside push, but everything kind of funneling on middle. And who is it on the flank? Of course, it's going to be Havoc. I don't even know if he's going to be needed. All right, he might be. Yeah, he's at least able to put damage into 1, but the back line stands tall.
Yeah, but just with, 30 seconds left, he knows where the next fight is going to be. Mental, I think, just maybe a second earlier than what he would have thought. He was trying to get inside of that window to find the kills on transition. Sky's just playing all the way back bank, waiting for his teammates to come off a spawn, but they're taking their time right now. They know there's 10 seconds left. They get all that scrap time and then make that transition over. Neptune's on 4 in a row, had some objective time as well, so we'll see if he can earn some streaks coming on up. But that's a good job by Cellium to get this position. It feels like when breaks happen, it's through this bust and bank door. Gonna try and hold on to it.
See if they can do it. They've already lost 1 player. Guerrillas need to hold strong. They need to win here to get it to a map 5. Let's go to an Astro Gaming listen-in with Los Angeles Guerrillas.
No trophy. Midweek. I'm backing up. Underplat. Cold cut, hurt bad. Wake dead. Absolute. Brown car. I'm gonna try to push hill. I'm going bank. Yeah, push to someone. Yeah. I'm gonna late bank, Colt. Got you. The office. Late bank, Colt. He pushed into it. He's going to pinch and bank steps maybe. Hey, take it already. Take it. Right side. Backed up. PC shoulder. He saw you.
Top. I'm just showing face. I'm running.
What's the big goal? It's Colt. You said right, Colt. Yeah, Colt. I get P1 done.
Let's cross and hill. Once deep.
Take it. We're men up. Nep, 1 shot their side and 1's a little plat step. He's looking at Eskies. He's looking for Eskies. Nep. I stepped on their side a little weak.
I got you.
Take it. One guy. What was I have a pinch. Go. Stay alive on hill.
Trying to. Or plat.
Right a pinch.
Plat wake. I'm 1 shot.
I'm still looking ticket.
1 shot.
Pinch Colt. I got him a pinch. Good job. One shot. I need Take it. Right. We got P2 on me. Got him. I still P2 on me, guys.
I'm seeing the plat.
You guys P2. Alright, last 2 P2. That's 1 shot. The other 2 should have spawned out.
Okay.
Hey, low, break dead, low. Rush me, I'm planning out. He's here. Dead. Nice. They're both new. Close to spawn out. Go. Help him. Let's go. Push, Philly.
I'm going.
Top cop. I'm trying to wait. They're only. Wait, top cop. The other guy's coming back to me.
Close it. Let's just
I spun P3 guys. They're gonna have your pie. Go stay alive. Wake his deep cop. He's all the way deep. I'm going to kill them.
Me and Justin hitting through front right now.
They're going straight. They're going to go straight heavy.
Come fast.
Well, it felt like Guerrillas were a bit at risk of getting blown out, but they brought this back. They've kept it tight, down just over 30 now, as they're staying in the fight. They've got control of the point. And last time we were here, it was not an instant break, from Mutineers, but it was a pretty quick one. So far, you're holding it for your Guerrillas, but this is the next chance for Mutineers.
Well, and who is it? Havoc going to open things up. Skies was in that position to help him out. And, you know, yeah, they've done a really good job at P1 in breaking Mutineers to put them in this situation, but holding on to the hill control and spawn control has been tough. Now maybe a chance here as 3 go down, make it 4 as Havoc does get taken down, but Awakening gets a close spawn, and that's the player on the hill time, so they're not going to get this hill time. And look at the arrows. You're a little bit everywhere right now. A couple of players spawn out from Florida. They know just to hit that rotation, hit that transition. Neptune's going to get spotted. Skies is all alone, though, as his teammates earn that scrap time.
Is there something you're seeing go wrong with the Guerrillas setup? Like, well, what is causing this? I mean, it's 2 times in one of your kind of money hard points where you just struggle to... You get to, what, about the 45-second mark? Then things fall apart.
Well, I think it's just a good job by Mutineers of understanding the positions, because it's typically one through the front and then one on the street, and they're kind of playing off one another, and that really thins out the defense or sort of the players trying to hold those setups, and that kind of forces 1v1s. And if you're losing your 1v1s, you get broken pretty easily.
Okay. Well, good job by Mutineers to continue to get the breaks, but they might need to do it again here. There's about 30 seconds left. They still have that 12-point advantage, but Guerrillas, we're in a solid spot. Now, though, just another messy sequence where it's going to be nobody inside of the hard point. The last guy really going to be there is going to be Skies. He'll take this one-on-one. He's able to win it. The rest of his team kind of focus on mid-map and street now as we get ready for the bus hard point to pop. The first guy there is going to be Neptune for the Mutineers squad. You've got kind of got 3 stacked up, looking to make this breakthrough window in street for Guerrillas. They're looking to make this hold, sorry.
Oh, Awakening, he loses that time. He gets such bad timing. Apathy, he's going to find that 1v1, and well, Awakening has to switch angles to try to get that trade. That opens things up for Mental. So again, they get set up here at this street. Skies is on 6 in a row, though. We'll see if he can earn some score streaks. Was able to do it in that 3rd map on Garrison. Can he find number 7? Teammate takes away 1, but this gets into a power spot inside the bus.
If you can play this smart, just get the kill. Not going to happen. Adam Assault puts him down. So, guys working hard for the streaks, but not going to find him. Can this be the map? The respawn, the Guerrillas absolutely have to win. Tell you what, this goes to map 5. You start to get a little bit nervous. You feel like this is kind of maybe that letdown game for Mutineers, that trap game, whatever you want to refer to it as. If I were them, I would just desperately want to close this out here in the map 4.
Well, it's really been this area, right, that Guerrillas have done a really good job at breaking this first hill. You know, you can see the emphasis that Mutineers are putting on this player, you know, fighting for P2 spawns. Apathy, he's just going to play his life. He's finessing around, finding different angles. Awakening was able to win a one-on-one, but Apathy is reading the next play and putting the focus on him. What that does is open up a push for his teammates at that first hill. Silly is going to find the first one. And his teammates just getting on that contest, though. Havoc doing what he does, finding that route, but the numbers in favor of Guerrillas.
Now, can they get the lead change? With 20 seconds left here and spawns for a second. This could be a massive sequence from Guerrillas. What a play from Apathy. Just derail that focus really from... I mean, they had to kill him before they could worry about spawns or fighting for the first hard point. Just beautifully done. But this is where Mutineers, time and time again, answer back. And it looks like they're doing it again. The last guy here is going to be Silly. And he's going to get sniffed out, put down. Mutineers back in control of second.
It's the same way. It's the players on street. They find a couple of kills, and they have a player towards the front. And as soon as the players street, they kind of divert the attention of the players on the hill towards them. It's a free kill up front, and then they're just able to, they block the spawns, they have the reinforcements. But Apathy trying to do what he can as him and Assault set up a similar pinch. But Neptune, a chance for him now to earn some streaks as he's on 5 in a row, only 40 seconds away from winning this match.
And it's just crazy. Like, I know teams have gotten better at breaking this hard point. We'll call it a money hill. I mean, you can call it just about every point in this map 1 at times, depending on setup. But it's just 3 in a row, right? Like, if one of those goes a bit differently, this scoreline's flipped.
100%. Yeah, I think it's just one that it's just so tough because there's all these different angles. There's the side door, there's the back windows, there's back street. Teams have just gotten much better at where they need to go to make it tough for teams to hold. No, it's a lot more on sort of third and fourth hill to find a lot of your time over towards Fountain and Bus.
Yeah, true. It just feels weird to even like call it on a hill anymore with how messy it's gotten at times. But Mental's trying to hold the edge. You see on X-Ray, just 3 players looking to get through, but him and Apathy have had the cross. Silly through the crossfire as well. If you're not going to hold down second, you better get your time here. And so far, Guerrillas working on one of their better holds they've had so far in the map. But right as I say it, Skies does clear one out of the hard point. At least stops the accrual of time for a moment for Guerrillas. It's all through the front right now for Mutineers. They just need 16 more points to close it out. But Guerrillas just narrowly behind on the hunt.
Well, I mean, yeah, Florida takes one more crack at it. And you can see what it kind of does is this allows them, Mental and Apathy now are in positions over towards Bus Hill. They had to take long routes, go all the way around because they tried to hit through the front. It doesn't work. And now Guerrillas, as the hill spawns, they're in a better position because there's no rotation out of Mutineers. But maybe Skies behind 28 and 14 just bails them out with the double. Opens up a lane for Neptune, but Silly just gets down. And Guerrillas, they have the spawns, they have control.
You can do it. Now just down 10 points. Guerrillas so close to getting this to a map 5. Can they clutch up in the biggest moments that matter here at the tail end of this hard point? Skies looking for the picks, and he's going to find him. 2 going to be down behind Neptune's kill as well. Making a second there for Skies. Awakening through on the kill as well. A big chain. The crossfire in. Silly will be caught, and that'll be Mutineers back in. And a Mutineer series victory as they get the breaks when they are needed. They close it out 250 to 226, and Guerrillas play them so tough, but it's just not enough.
No, I will say for the Guerrillas, it is probably the best they've looked throughout this stage. You know, they're able to win that search and destroy. The hard point's very close. Obviously, there's working control and things they could have done differently. But they push Mutineers, a team that has been getting better and better. So I know it's not a match win, but they did seem improved here. And for the Mutineers, you're up to 3-0 now. You've put yourselves in the position that you want. And you can see it there. Mutineers, they secure top 8. Guerrillas, Legion eliminated from that playoff area.
Yeah, so that'll do it. I mean, that'll determine our top 8 teams. If you think about the playoff to close out the year, I mean, you've had 5 stages of work put in. 8 teams that have been the most consistent, earn the most points. They're going to have a chance for the big prize pool at the end of it. But if you're Mutineers, you can't lose focus on the job at hand because you have a chance to maybe hop up with regards to that top 8 and where you are in the seeding. You have a chance to really finish here strong and put yourself in a good place, maybe the best place you've been in with regards to a major here at stage 5. So still work to do, but I mean, most of the, when you talk about the games 1 and 3, super balanced. Here, Sky stands out a little bit. I mean, he was 32 and 14, led the way in damage, a huge map from him.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously has a big match here, but it's messier, right? Like when you don't have kind of Havoc and Neptune leading the way, you can see the difference. This reminded me a little bit of older Florida, what we saw from previous stages. I know kind of everyone contributed, but the maps were close. And I think there's still some work to be done for Mutineers on the way they want to hold and, you know, kind of secure those hard points. Because against the top teams, you let those opportunities knock, and teams like Atlanta FaZe, teams like Toronto Ultra, they're going to take advantage of that.
Well, yeah, to put bluntly, you play a Moscow hardpoint like that against a good team, you're not winning. It's really as simple as that. But we're going to take a look at the scuff play of the game, and it's going to be that final bus break that really determines the game, decides it as Skies finding picks, the crossfire through. But we'll watch it one more time as Mutineers clutch up and get the W.
Yeah, just before this, they send a 4-man hit right through the front. And what it does is it allows Guerrillas to get in a position early on in this hill to get set up. And Skies is going to find 2 kills back-to-back right there, and I thought, all right, that's the break. But then there's a great response from Silly and Apathy. Silly with his Krieg able to follow up Skies, and he just gets down. I'm sorry, Mental. And that's 3 dead, but Skies right off a spawn and somehow finds 3 picks. Finds 3 picks, able to just, piece them apart. It's Havoc trying to work the flank, but it's right through the front where Mutineers is able to win this game.
You saw the first one? It's the prone shot underneath to get Mental. Then he gets 2 at the corner. Then damage in here. I think it's Neptune that finishes the kill on the Silly, but it's a team shot. Wonderfully done. by Mutineers to get the break, get the win. They were clutching the breaks when they needed to be, and that'll decide your hard point. Mutineers can celebrate the 3-0 start, but we get ready to go to break before we kick it off in our final match of the night. On the other side of the break, we'll have Lottie and Nameless to break it down.
Seany, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Seany Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting seany.com/gaming. Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. Call of Duty League is brought to you by T-Mobile. T-Mobile is the shot caller in 5G. Lead the game from the lobby to the last push with America's largest, fastest, and now most reliable 5G network.
Hello everybody and welcome back. We're shortly getting into the HQ, but before we do, take a gorgeous little look at Minnesota right now. The sky is blue, the future is bright, especially for our teams right now in this gorgeous playoff picture. Atlanta FaZe sitting pretty there, 33-4. Pretty unbelievable stuff out of this team. They are the titans of the Call of Duty League, if you will. And you can see right now who has also secured top 8. It has been set, everybody. Guerrillas and Legion are out. We've got 4 teams that are eliminated. You're right, Nameless. It is locked and loaded and ready to go. Yeah, absolutely incredible stuff. And the journey's been a long and hard one for a lot of our teams here, fighting their way to get into the champs. And that is that's what we're playing for here at the end of the day. This is what the season has come down to. Now, talking about Mutineers, who we just saw on our screens very shortly. Mutineers, you know, we've talked about the inconsistencies there. We've talked about how they really need to play up to their opponent. Obviously, playing LAG wasn't exactly the hardest opponent, you know, respectively. Wasn't exactly the hardest opponent that they could have played against. But nonetheless, we did see some good Call of Duty out of them, especially right at the end there. Hard point, let's talk about that. You know, the break off P2 there as well from Mutineers. Quite a close end there. But what did you see that kind of took you by surprise there, Nameless?
Yeah, it was just a solid break by Florida Mutineers. And this goes back to what we kind of said during the pre-show with Florida Mutineers is it's way too close for comfort. I mean, you get a game out of Skies and he was just going off. I mean, he was like 31-14 in the very last moments of this game and they still narrowly edged them out. So a lot of work to be done here, but this was a solid break. They ended up getting like 20 seconds of the initial time on P1 and then it was a fight back and forth for it and they found themselves in the back foot trying to break around. They take their time, they go around the street, they get a couple picks and Neptune's able to find one top in the back and they get inside this hill and try to get a good setup here, but they end up getting broken towards the end of it. So basically what this illustrates is the back and forth fights that Mutineers are constantly having, never really able to get their optimal setup that they want, whether that be a communication error or somebody over challenging or throwing their life away. It's just they drop the ball sometimes in these situations, and in order to beat the top teams, you're going to have to be able to execute those setups. Like right there, they were set up, they had front, and somehow LAG is able to break them through. take a little bit of that time, and then potentially Mutineers could have lost that game. They were even on the back foot going into the final hill. So, while that was a solid break out of them, it's getting the next thing right and the next thing, and that's where they haven't been able to break through all season long.
Yeah, definitely. It is just basically chaining the right things together, let alone hills. It's Mutineers right now. It's being consistent, playing up to that level and not falling, below it. And I think that's what we've seen kind of all season from them, the highs and the lows and the dips. But we need it to stay at the same level for the rest of our season. Come on, guys. Come on, Mutineers. Now, our next match, Ultra, they do have the chance to seal the 2nd seed. So, Nameless, when you're one of the top teams that you have in the league and you're going up against some of the bottom teams of the league, how do you approach that match? What are you trying to get out of it in particular? What are you trying to do?
Well, 1, for Toronto Ultra, a win. But 2, also, you're trying to expand your map pool. I mean, looking at Toronto Ultra, they're not perfect. There's some things that they need to work on. A 5-4 record in hardpoint since Major 4, obviously not the best record that you want to have, especially if you're contending for a championship. So going up against Surge, work on your 2 maps that you need to get better at, right? Moscow and Raid hardpoint, 0-2 in both of those modes since Major 4, and that is where you can really expand it and go toe-to-toe with a team like Atlanta FaZe, a team that is great on a map like Moscow hardpoint. So Toronto, they have an opportunity here. In all these matches, honestly, going forward, they should be testing out those maps and preparing for Major 5 and preparing for the COD Championships.
Love what you said there, and that is bang on. I think, honestly, if I was Ultra right now, I just have my sights set on FaZe. I know that sounds kind of specific, but I would be really focusing on that end game for Toronto. They have been consistently good. I don't see them kind of easing up on that. Moscow hardpoint, Garrison hardpoint, 2 that FaZe are really damn good at, and Ultra aren't exactly lights out at. So I'd be testing specifically FaZe strengths against the bottom teams to really get prepared to battle with the top. Yeah, 100%. You can see the Ultra boys there getting ready to go as well. But I tell you what, I can see them pretty clearly. Do you know why? Because I have my Zennies on, and you guys could also be seeing pretty damn clear too if you want to, because the official Zenny Call of Duty League eyewear is finally here and available to buy right now. So head to zenny.com/CDL to choose from all 12 team branded collections and get your signature Call of Duty League frames. Every pair comes with an exclusive case and cloth for your team style or signature league style. So whatever the fashion, whatever you fancy, you can pick up your favorite pair right now, and also you can support your team doing it too, which is really, really cool. But I tell you what, that's all we have time for, Nameless. I'm so sorry. I love having you on the desk, but we're gonna have to kick each other off now because we do have somebody to talk to, and that is Havoc from Florida Mutineers, to find out how he is feeling. He's got his back against the wall currently. My good, we got a professor type situation happening. Oh, and no headphone jack in the computer. That's fine. Don't worry about it, fella. We'll sort that out before we speak to him. I think he does need a bit of a snip, that is for sure. He is looking good. But I tell you what, Game Fuel victory spotlight coming your way right after the break. Hello everybody and welcome to your Games Rule Victory Spotlight. Joining me I have the wonderful Havoc or Professor from Austin Powers, whichever one you would like to take right now, Havoc from Florida Mutineers. Absolutely love that. That was I think that's got to be one of my favorite previews, by the way, so love to see it.
Yeah, besides the cat.
Congratulations. Yeah, besides missing the cat, but that is for another day. That's for another day. Congratulations on the dub. You guys looking really, really good right now, sitting at 3-0 for this stage currently. How are you feeling right now about the way your team is playing currently? Obviously, home stretch, Major 5, champs around the corner. You feeling good?
Yeah, we're playing pretty good right now. A little sloppy, a little sloppier than we would like, but we're playing good. I mean, we're 3-0, so we can't be too mad, but the job's not done, and really we're shooting for that 6th seed, so every match counts. So we're not taking anyone lightly, and we're working really hard outside of the matches. But we look good.
You do look good indeed, and it's good to hear that you guys are still working really, really hard on your craft. Now, time is ticking, and obviously consistency has kind of come into question when Mutineers have been brought into conversation, because you know, sometimes you guys go against some of the top teams in the league and you beat them and do it in an incredible fashion. And then other times you'll go against some of the bottom of the leaderboard and fail. And it's very confusing, I think, in terms of the consistencies there. So what are you guys doing as a team to make sure you correct those inconsistencies heading into stage 5 and champs? Like, how do we get the Mutineers that we saw beat Dallas Empire the other day?
Well, I think we're getting to the point in time where I obviously filled in for the 4th spot on this team a handful of months ago. So I think we're getting to the spot where we're becoming just more of a consistent team because we've been playing a lot together, a lot longer than from one stage ago. And we're just working really hard, and we're at the point where we're kind of just nitpicking our mistakes, because we don't make really big mistakes. Well, sometimes we do, but so we're just kind of trying to dial in our game as much as possible. And over time we've just I think we're getting a little bit more consistent. And S&D was a big problem for us, and we lost that, but we're working really hard on it, and we have stuff up our sleeves. So yeah, I'd say the main thing is just time.
I like to hear this, Havoc. This is music to my ears. Stuff up your sleeves. You're working hard, nitpicking. This all sounds perfect, especially with champs coming around the corner. Thank you so much for indulging me with that one, Havoc, and best of luck going forward, man.
Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks, coming up, Ultra will be doing a little bit of extra recon for Major 5 and Champs, of course, and heading into this match versus Surge. Surge, they got nothing to lose. Ultra have everything to practice, and it makes for an interesting duel, I'll tell you that. But next match coming away is right after this break.